Hey, Motorman here, and I'm at Gator Harley-Davidson. And I'm about to take a 2023 Harley-Davidson Breakout for a test ride. This is about the only model that I haven't ridden in 2023, and they're a little bit difficult to find. My local dealer has maybe one or two, but they were pre-sold. So I come up here to Gator, and they're letting me take this bike out. There are several colors available, but I believe this, to me, at least in my opinion, is about the sharpest color they've got. This orange really stands out. This is not a bike to buy if you don't like talking to a whole bunch of people, because every time you stop with a motorcycle that looks like this, people are going to gather around. They're going to ask you all kinds of questions. Of course, it's got the 117 motor, big fat rear tire. I think this is the widest tire of any stock Harley-Davidson ever made. Lots of chrome. Nothing blacked out on this bike. Now, I've ridden a 2014, I believe it was. My son had one, and I wasn't too crazy about it. It was really a stretched out motorcycle in order to reach the forward controls for me at the 5'7". Yes, I identify as 6'2", but that doesn't help me when you get on a motorcycle where the controls are too far forward. But I remember on that bike, it was a real stretch to get to the forward controls, but it doesn't seem to be the case on this motorcycle. It's a whole new frame, whole new motor, completely different bike, though it does look similar to the first Breakout. Let's start her up, see what we got here. ABS, of course, is standard, and this bike has the optional traction control as well. Low seat height. One of the other things they improved on with this model is the lean angle. The first Breakout had like a 24-degree lean angle, which is virtually almost nothing, but this one has I believe it's 27.8 degrees of lean angle before the pegs start to scrape. And of course, you can go a little bit further. The pegs do fold up. And with the Milwaukee 8 and the 117 motor, man, you got all kinds of power. The bike weighs, I believe, 683 pounds, so it's under 700 pounds. Now, I do notice I'm having to lean forward to reach the bars, so my hands are outstretched. I'm leaning forward, and my feet are outstretched. Not exactly the best position for comfort, but that's not what this bike was built for. If it were mine, first thing I'd do is put some pullback risers on it. Oh man, right off of idle, this bike has got all kinds of power. And when you hit that throttle, it throws you back in the seat. Luckily, the seat has got almost like a little backrest, which keeps you from flying off the seat at full throttle. Now, with the 66.7-inch wheelbase and a 34-degree rake, This would not be the most maneuverable of Harley-Davidson motorcycles. But I can tell you, even with that big fat rear tire, it turns in really nice. Push on those bars and the bike reacts immediately. Ride is on the firm side, and like all the Softail models, this is has a balance shaft rather than rubber mounted. That means you're going to get some vibration coming through the hand grips, and of course you do on this motorcycle. It's nothing objectionable. It's just I mention it because I'm used to riding the touring models, which are rubber mounted, and almost no vibration gets through on the touring models, but you get some on this bike. This is all about the torque with the 117 and with this lightweight for a cruiser motorcycle. And I know you may be saying, well, you got a sport bike that weighs 400 pounds. It's not a sport bike. This is a cruiser, and probably I would call this a muscle cruiser or a muscle bike. It's made mainly straight line performance, though you can corner pretty well on this with 27-degree lean angle. That's not bad at all for a cruiser. It's better than a lot of them. If you've never been to this area of Florida, Leesburg area is some of the best riding in the entire state. Further north you go towards the center of the state, the better the roads are for riding a motorcycle. Brakes work very well. Again, this is ABS and traction control. Traction control means if you get on it a little bit too much, especially from a stop as you're turning, it prevents the bike from slipping out from under you. And it is a good thing to have. Seats on the firm side, and I kind of like firm seats. You get on a really soft plush seat after about an hour or so, they tend to not feel so plush. I promised I wouldn't scrape the pegs on this bike. It's a brand new bike. MSRP on this bike, and I'll check to make sure, but it's with the freight and the surcharge, it's up around $23,000. You pay extra, of course, for this paint job. I believe that's another $535. Yeah, despite the long wheelbase and rake, it's a very easy motorcycle to ride. It doesn't feel cumbersome or heavy, anything like that. In fact, the opposite. The big fat rear tire, which motorcycles that had those big wide tires 10 or 12 years ago, you could definitely feel it when you were around a curve. It was like you had to force it into the curve or force it to lean. I don't get that sensation at all on this bike. Now I know on the older model Breakout coming around that turn, I would have already been scraping those pegs. Didn't happen on this one, and I'm trying hard not to make it happen. Yeah, you can have fun with this bike on a winding road, no question about it. The 2014 model that I rode before, that my son had, I believe that was the 103 high output, nowhere near as fast as this. I believe these are putting out somewhere around 95 horsepower, and with under 700 pounds, that means you got plenty of speed. Now my ST that I have, Streak Light ST, also has the 117 motor, but I could definitely feel this is a considerably faster motorcycle. In fact, it even feels a lot quicker than the Lowrider ST I recently tested. I think it was last week. This air filter, I first thought that was going to be in my way with the way the forward controls are on this bike, but I don't even notice it being there. Now this isn't a long distance motorcycle, but you know, for me, put some risers on it, some saddlebags, and easily do a 500-mile day. Of course, the first thing everybody does when they get a new Harley is put some slip-ons. I would suggest Tab Performance mufflers. You got a choice of a quiet baffle, which is a little bit louder than stock, medium baffle, which is plenty loud for me, and zombie baffles, which are really loud. Right now, really the only thing you could hear, because you get a lot of wind up, there's no windshield. What you hear is that intake when you accelerate. And that's a nice sound to hear. I like it. So if you're in the market for a muscle bike very similar to a muscle car, like that one there, this could be just the bike for you. I hope you enjoyed this. I hope you learned something, and please give me a thumbs up, subscribe, and click that notification bell.